Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sig M17 and we're going to go through and do a full field strip and cleanup. This is not going to be a complete disassembly, but more of a field strip. We're going to go through and assess and check every little thing and go over a couple of things. This is a really cool pistol. I've really been enjoying these. I do like the M17 quite a lot. You know, this particular video will come in handy whether you have a P320, an M18, M17, doesn't matter. Anything in this particular type of design, this video will come in handy for you. Now, this one does have the aftermarket Wilson combat frame installed. However, don't worry about that. All of the disassembly and reassembly procedures are exactly the same. I will show you the factory frame just so you can see the differences between the two, though, you know, since I do have this one on here. Overall, these are fantastic pistols, and if you don't know, probably one of the most distinctive features of this pistol is the fact that it uses a chassis system as the serialized component, which is very handy. Okay, so say you damage the frame or some other component on the gun, you only have the internal serialized chassis that is the actual firearm that transfers, you know, on a 4473 or through the gun shop or whatever. That makes changing out frames and accessories super simple. And it just makes the overall, you know, care of the gun much easier as well. You'll see this thing's very easy to take care of. This is not going to be very difficult at all. We are going to break into this. Before we do, I would like to thank our friends at Otis Technologies for supporting today's video. They make a bunch of awesome cleaning accessories, and if any of you have ever served in the military in recent years, you know, 20, 30 years, you know that they make those awesome pull-through cleaning systems. You know, the little black pouches that you were issued in the military. They have much more than that, though. They're not just known for their pull-through systems. They've got a bunch of great tools that they've developed over the years. I love their bone tool, which is one of the most useful AR cleaning tools you could possibly ever ask for. They make a lot of cool stuff, many of which the things we're going to be demonstrating here in today's video. I do have some of their stuff I'm going to be showing off, as well as some of their cleaning you know, materials and things like that, as well as their chemicals, oils, solvents, and things like that. Use the code IV8888 to save 15% off if you want to do business over at Otis. And big thanks to them for supporting our channel. We're going to break into this, and I'm going to position the camera overhead. We're just going to work in real time, have a good time. Look, I'm just going to work in real time. This is going to be me at the bench doing my thing. I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride. So let's break into this glorious M17 and have a look. All right, boys and girls. Grab a coffee. We're going to get cracking here. So, M17, we're going to take this thing apart, do a good field strip, and get her cleaned up. This gun's probably had about 800 rounds through it since the last time I cleaned it. So, I've been kind of vetting this Wilson combat frame a good bit. So, you know, I want to take it apart, have a look, see how it's holding up, and we'll clean this thing while we got it apart. And I am going to go over magazine release removal as well, because that seems to be a point of contention that people have some difficulty with, so I'll try to guide you through that. We're going to go ahead and begin by removing the magazine. All right, if you don't know how to remove the magazine, this is right here, okay? You're going to press this. That's your magazine release. This is your slide stop. You can see that it's ambidextrous. You can reach it from either side of the pistol. All right, we're going to push up on that while simultaneously pulling the slide to the rear until the slide stop engages in that cut. You can see that cut inside of the slide there. That's going to lock the slide to the rear. You have to lock the slide to the rear to disassemble a pistol. We can look and we can visually inspect the chamber, and we can see that it's empty. You may not be able to see on film, but I can see it is empty. The magazine is empty. The gun is free of any ammunition. That's obviously quite important. We're going to take this lever and you're going to rotate it clockwise until it reaches its furthest point of travel. All right, you can see there's a stop right here on the frame that stops the lever. It is kind of under some tension, so when you go to reassemble it, as you push forward, it kind of pops forward like that. You're going to rotate it downward to this position right here that you see right here. You're going to, I normally just take my fingers and grab the forward cocking serrations. I'm going to go ahead and relieve the tension off of the slide assembly by pressing down on the slide stop. All right, now see, right now it's under tension. Okay, I'm holding it back. I'm going to let it go forward nice and gently. and then I'm going to go ahead and push it forward and remove the slide from the frame assembly. Okay, let's set the frame to the side for a second. We're going to go ahead and concentrate on the slide for a moment. The recoil guide rod assembly is one piece, so you don't have to worry about anything flying apart. You're just going to grab it and kind of push forward and pull to the rear. All right, you can see it is all one captured assembly. The barrel pivots downward to the rear slightly, okay, and removes. You may have to push it forward just a little bit to clear that extractor, okay. So kind of push it forward like this, pick it up, and lift it out. You can see there's a good bit of wear. I've put quite a few rounds through this pistol. It's pretty skanky, but generally though, not that dirty. Wow, I'm quite surprised. It's held up pretty good overall. Now, for general field stripping purposes, you really wouldn't need to disassemble this thing any further. You can see that the overall setup of the slide is pretty straightforward. This is your loaded chamber indicator. So when you have a round in the chamber, this little guy pops up. You can see right here. Okay, this is the plate that protects the top of this slide for the RMR or slide rider. Now, I don't have a slide rider equipped on this one, but if you did, you can access those screws from the bottom of the slide. You can see right here, these two holes. Now, we could probably disassemble this thing a little bit further if we wanted to, but generally, if the gun is not giving you any type of issues, you don't need to pull it apart any further than this just for field stripping, okay? So we're gonna clean what's here. We will go ahead and disassemble the magazine as well here in a bit. I'm gonna set it off to the side for now. And then we'll also compare the frames here in a moment as well. Now, what we're going to do is, I do have a couple of these Otis. They're the 085 firearms wipes, okay? They have some CLP on them, sort of impregnated on them. We could probably take one of those and just wipe off some of the surface stuff. I've already pulled one out, took the liberty of pulling one out. And let's just go through and kind of wipe this thing down a little bit. Now, the finish that they use on these guns is actually quite good, and I've noticed that, you know, it holds up really nice. It's not quite so prone to scratching and everything like that. This gun is in pretty good shape. I think this particular M17, I've probably fired it, I'd say this gun's probably got about 2,000 rounds through it, so nothing crazy, but I have shot it a good bit, and I put about 800 rounds through it, you know, after installing the Wilson Combat Grip Module, because I do carry this gun, and, you know, I wanted to make sure that it's something that I could trust and vet my equipment and everything like that. So I just took that firearms wipe and just kind of got some of the preliminary crap off of there. We'll go through and take some Q-tips here, and we'll take a little bit of this, we're going to use some of this bore cleaner. Just a little bit, not a lot, and we'll just get in here and see if we can break up some of this carbon and crap that's in some of the raceways on the, you know, the little grooves and things on the slide. You know, anything that can impede the movement of the slide, anything that can catch dirt and grit and sand and anything like that, you definitely want to make sure you get in there and clean that stuff really well. You can see, look, you're going to go through and just methodically wipe down every single thing you see. And I know a lot of people that are tuning into this video, maybe you've never cleaned a lot of guns before. Maybe, you know, you're new to the Sig M17 or the P320 series of pistols, and you're just trying to figure out, you know, hey, is there any kind of little quirks or things I need to know about this particular pistol that set it apart from other pistols? Like, you know, that would probably be good to know, right? And while that is true that every gun has its own kind of little quirks and intricacies that are involved with them, you also have to remember that every single gun that you're going to mess with is, at the end of the day, is just a mechanical device. It is a series of moving parts, and all your job is, as a person cleaning this gun, is to go through and figure out what in the world could stop anything from moving properly, something from, you know, you're going to check the wear. Like we can look as we clean this gun, right? We can see that there are varying amounts of wear points. Like you see where the, you know, everything's kind of rubbed smooth. You can see where the barrel rubs against the top of the slide. That's a wear point. So as you're going along, you can see there's some wear on the side of the slide on the inside. I don't know how well you can see that. Hopefully you can see that quite well. But you can see, you know, you're going to look and inspect, and you're going to see what's wearing, okay? Those are all just important things to kind of keep in the back of your mind. No matter what type of gun you're cleaning, you're going to see where those wear points are, and you're going to pay special attention to those areas when you go back to relubricate and everything like that, okay? Because that's obviously where most of your wear is occurring, and that's where you're going to want to focus all of your efforts in terms of relubrication. At least that's the way I approach pistol cleaning. I don't get too overly worried about anything, okay? I just get in there and I clean what I can see. We can see at the front of the slide there where the barrel goes through that there's definitely a nice little wear point there, which of course makes sense because the barrel, when it fires, it's gonna pick up and rise. So of course you're gonna see those kind of unique wear points that begin to manifest themselves. What I will do is we're going to go ahead and break out the Otis 9mm cleaning kit. I just took some of the Q-tips and the wipes there just to get some of the preliminary crap off. I'm going to go ahead and set this frame to the side for just a moment. So this is an off-the-shelf 9mm pistol pull-through breech to muzzle cleaning kit. I haven't really done anything other than knock the little zip tie off of it. We're going to pull it out and go ahead and use this, okay? All right, so you've got a couple of different things. Your pull-through wire, okay? It just pulls against that. All right, so you can pull through. It's kind of nice. You can pull from either side. So this particular guy right here has the pull-through jag permanently attached to one side. So we can take this and move it back maybe down here like this. If we want, it's actually going to go the other way like this. You can see how that locks in there. And you got the grooves there so you can pull through, okay? Real easy. We're going to take the 9mm brush and go ahead and install it on the pull-through setup. And this little cleaning kit, you know, it folds up nice and compact. And you've got a attachment. You can put this on your gear if you want. We're going to set that off to the side because we are actually going to use one of these little tools in here to remove the magazine release on the frame here in a bit. Let's go ahead and coat down this brush with a bit of our, this is the MC17 bore cleaner. This is from Shooter's Choice. Okay, we're just going to coat down some of this bore cleaner on here, and we will pull it through. And the way we do that is go ahead and come through here. Now, I don't necessarily have to have the handle on there to pull this through. I can just do this. That's fine. But they do give you the handle if you might need it, okay? So we're going to go through, and we've got this brush coated down with some solvent. The only other thing I'd probably recommend, you know, you might want to wear some nitrile gloves or something. I'm not wearing gloves because I really want the contrast between my hands. I don't know, from a filming perspective, I just would prefer to have bare hands for my better manual dexterity and things like that. You can take this brush and literally just wipe down that feed ramp, right? Take that solvent and get it in every little crack and groove that you can find. Go ahead and just, you know, use the brush, kind of wipe it down. And look, guys, this is a field strip, okay? This is just to keep the pistol running. Like, we're not trying to take apart every little tiny bell and whistle here. This is to show you the techniques necessary to keep your pistol running in the field and to conduct a field strip and cleaning in the field. That's sort of what today's video is really meant to drive home. That barrel looks really nice. Good deep cut rifling. Okay, that's looking good. We're going to let that solvent sit in that barrel for a while and do its thing. I'm not expecting any issues there. Try to sop up a little bit of that solvent off of this brush because we definitely don't want to go putting it right back in the gun when we're done. Okay. All right. We'll pull this off. Now, what we want to do For this, I mean, for the recoil guide rod assembly, I mean, look, for just field strip and cleaning, this thing's actually not that dirty. We'll just take one of our 085 firearms wipes. We'll literally just wipe it down. And then you're going to see that, you know, this is a fresh wipe, okay? So you're going to see everything that came off of it. Look at that. It really wasn't that much crap. It really wasn't that dirty. So for the purposes of field stripping and cleaning, I'm not really worried about this. This is looking just fine. But of course, you know, we'll lubricate it, oil it up, and everything like that. We've allowed some of the solvent to also sit on the slide for a little bit. We're going to go through and just kind of pay attention to that. Now, there's a couple of things that we could get away with. Say you have, for instance, you don't want to carry around, if you're in the military, law enforcement, or just a hunter in the field, or just whoever, you know, you're trying to keep up with all your gear. One little trick is forceps, okay? You should have forceps already on your gear. You never know when you might need a pair of forceps, but I like to keep a lot of varying types of forceps stuck down in my MOLLE on my gear, because we can just take a couple of patches. I like to take a 30 cal patch and cut it in half like this. And then I sort of just layer them like this and pinch them, just like this, okay? And then we'll grab them with forceps, okay? Now, we can use that as our kind of makeshift cleaning rod. So we don't have to have an actual cleaning rod. If we're just taking care of our pistol in the field, now we can use our forceps to hold this patch and get down here and look at that. I can apply all the pressure I need to apply, and I can get in there. Now use care with any type of cleaning rod, or in this case forceps, not to scratch your finish or anything like that. But look at that. Well, look how good that works. Oh, eyeball pluckers. All right, so we get in here and just wipe down anything we can see. And again, anything that has, you know, some sort of spring tension or movement, you know, you're going to go through and just make sure it's got plenty of clear and free movement. You know, we're not going to go through and pull this whole thing apart. We do have, now this is going to be difficult for me to show you. I'm going to angle it about right there. You can see the face of the slide where the bolt face is. So we'll take this forceps here with the patch and just get in there and really scrub that. Now, I know it's hard for you to see from this angle. It's difficult for me to film and do it at the same time, but you get the idea. Get in there and just really clean that bolt face really good and get all that crap off of there. Hopefully you can see that there, hopefully. Got pretty clean there, okay? I know that's a very difficult angle to film without having to, you know, do a very specific type of angle. All right, now, getting up under that extractor and everything in the field, and you can see how much crap we pulled off of there, okay? Not too bad. We can take our Otis kit, and there's a variety of little picks and scribes. All right, here's one. There's a angled one, a straight one. You can see they look like this. We're going to go ahead and just take the one rod assembly that comes with it and just use it kind of like a tool holder like this. All right, real easy. And I'm going to get in there and scrape some of that away. Okay, that's good. Yep, just a little bit of caked on crud. Get that all out of there. Now, at this point, what we'll probably do is go ahead and employ the use of a nylon brush. We've got some, of course, nylon all-purpose brushes, 20 of them. All right, we're going to go ahead and break one of those out. And that's a Shooter's Choice product, the Tub O brushes. Just go ahead and grab a fresh brush. Now, if the nylon is not doing the trick, we can obviously go to a phosphor bronze if we want, but let's go ahead and break out the nylon. And again, I know this is hard for you to see. I'm going to hold it kind of just right here, but you see I'm going to just get in here and scrape this bolt face out real good here. Get all this crud out of here. We definitely want to clean that really well. Oh yeah, and you can see how much came off. This is a fresh brush. You do have a small side as well for getting into some of the fine areas. We'll just demonstrate that here. especially for getting up under that extractor cut. Again, this is not a complete, disassembly down to the smallest piece. If we're out in the field, we're not going to try to, go around missing, losing something, okay? We don't want to lose some small part in the field. So the whole idea of the field stripping, that's why we call it field stripping, because we're just taking it apart in the field just to keep the thing going. But these brushes are extremely handy. And if you don't, want to have some special place on your gear to put a nylon brush, just like your forceps, you could have just a spot in your molly, all right, where you stick a pair of forceps in your molly somewhere out of the way, and you can just take this brush and kind of stick it right there with your forceps. That's one way you can sort of store it if you want. If you've got some extra pipe cleaners like this, you can even take the pipe cleaner and just wrap it kind of like that. You could wrap a pipe cleaner around it and then just stick that in your molly. And look at that, that's inconspicuous, that's out of the way, and that keeps everything nice and compact, and you still have the pipe cleaner if you need it. Just, little things to think about. You want to conserve space in the field. You don't want to have a whole bunch of crap hanging off your gear if you can help it, but you need to be able to take care of your gear in the field, whether you're a hunter, whether you're a civilian, whether you're military, whether you're law enforcement, whoever you are, and you need to take care of your gun. You obviously want to be able to carry whatever gear you need on you to accomplish that task, but not have to take up a whole lot of space, okay? I think we get the idea. This slide is looking pretty good. That's clean to my satisfaction. We're going to go ahead and go back to our barrel where we've been letting our solvent sit in here, okay? And these cleaning procedures, are really not that much different for no matter what type of gun you're messing with, what type of pistol, okay? Again, we got our 30 cal patches that we cut in half. I prefer to cut them. I like it to sit in there about like that. And then using our same handle, we're going to go ahead and dry the solvent out of the barrel. We can move that back and forth. That's not going to hurt anything. And then I'm going to show you another technique that I like to use as well. Now, it will wear your bore brush out a little quicker, but to have a good tight fit, all right, let's just going to dry the excess off right here. Okay. Nice. It's clean. Very clean. And that's one thing I can say about these SIGs is that they really do, they're very efficient. They really don't get that dirty, despite the round count that I've put through this thing. I'm actually surprised it's not even that freakishly dirty. All right, we're just going to go through and make sure we wipe off any excess oil that might be on, or solvent that might be on the workpiece here. And what I'll do is I'm just going to take another one of the wipes since it's already impregnated with the CLP. And we'll go ahead and just wipe this thing down. And honestly, that's good. I mean, we are going to go through and lubricate, obviously, very specifically, and we're going to oil the bore. Now, what I'll do is take my bore brush and put it back on there. Okay? But this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a patch. And the reason I like to cut these patches is because I'll kind of take it and kind of wrap it a little bit. You can see the angle that it's at. I'll just wrap the little tails around, sort of like this. And I'm going to coat this thing down with a little bit of this, let's see, where did I put it? I've got some FP10, which is essentially just CLP. Okay, we're going to take some FP10 and go ahead and pull this patch through the bore with the bore brush. And that is going to make a very tight fit. Okay. Those tails should just pull right in. Yep, just like that. And I'm not using the handle, so you can see like it's not that much resistance. I'm just going to pull that through a couple of times. I'm pleased. Very nice. I know that's difficult to see, but she's definitely clean, okay? Make no mistake, boys and girls, she's clean. So in terms of the upper assembly, I'm pleased with that. That's sort of my go-to method. And we can see on this patch ever so slightly, I know it's difficult to see, but see how there's a little bit of blue? That is from the copper that was broken up by the solvent. Okay, so that copper, as it oxidizes, it turns that kind of, you know, greenish blue sort of color. I am going to go ahead and opt to pull another clean patch through because I want to make sure that we don't have any of that crap left behind. We want to make sure the bore is well oiled. So go ahead and just pull a clean patch through. And I just want to really look at this clean patch and make sure that there's not any green on it. There's a little bit, but I think that might have just been some residual from the brush. Now that's where you get into nylon versus steel versus phosphor bronze types brushes, because when you get solvent on these brushes, you can get a bit of that oxidation that'll occur and can make you, give you the effect that maybe you still have a dirty bore, when in reality it's probably just from this this bronze, okay? Which is not a problem, but just something to be mindful of. And remember, this is field stripping, so this is just keeping the thing running in the field. All right, now let's check out the frames. Now we're going to get down to this grip module. This is the Wilson Combat grip module. This is the factory grip module, just to give you a visual representation between the two. The difference in the stippling and the texture. Also, looks like you have a little bit more real estate for the rail. Okay, a much more rounded trigger guard on the Wilson frame as opposed to the factory Sig frame. A little bit longer beaver tail. Extended beaver tail on the Wilson unit versus the Sig. The Wilson unit comes pre-installed with the magazine release. As you can see, the factory magazine release is still on this one. We're going to set the factory frame off to the side and go ahead and concentrate on the frame here, but the disassembly procedures are exactly the same. You're going to take the disassembly lever, which should still be in the locked position, and you're going to go ahead and move it back forward. And then just take your other finger from the other side. You can see it just pushes right out, that pin, okay? So that is your, not only your takedown lever, but that is the lever that actually holds the entire chassis assembly in place. Grab these tabs where the forward slide rails are and just lift up on it like this, all right? And the whole assembly, you're going to lift and sort of push forward just a hair like that, and the whole assembly comes out. You can see where there's some powder burn and things like that within the frame, but generally these guns run pretty clean. This is like almost 800 rounds and it's really not that skanky. I'm going to show you how to remove the magazine release. Now for field stripping, you really don't need to bother removing the magazine release, but I'll show you how to do it because it seems like a lot of people struggle with it. There's a little bit of a trick to it, and oddly enough, the small pick that comes with the Otis pull-through kit is the perfect size for removing the magazine release. So what you're going to do is, okay, there's a little witness hole. It's very difficult to see. You should be able to see it here, but there's a hole right here in the back of the magazine release. You can see I'm sticking the tip of this scribe in there, okay? The best way to remove the magazine release is to hold it in your left hand, take your index finger and lift up like this. I'm lifting up on the magazine release. I'm going to go ahead and engage the magazine release like I'm removing a magazine. I'm going to, while pushing up and applying pressure on the magazine release, I'm going to take the scribe and I'm going to push in, and you should feel it. You should feel a little bit of pressure as it relieves. And all you're going to do is push in and you're going to work it up and down like this. Okay, you're going to work it up and down, and that's going to pull this little wedge out. You can see what we just removed there. See that little bit of a relief in the wedge? I know that's hard to see. Okay, and then now it's still under spring pressure. I'm still applying pressure. I'm going to gently let go, and then we're going to make real sure we don't lose this little spring right here. Go ahead and pull it out. Okay. There's our completely stripped Wilson Combat frame. We're going to clean it, but first I'm just going to set it off to the side. And you can see this spring. So the magazine release, the way that this assembly works, is you have the spring and you have this little wedge here, okay? That's kind of how it looks right there when it's together, okay? So all you're really doing is coming in from the other side and relieving the tension off of that little wedge and then wiggling it back and forth and allowing it to get free. Now we are going to put it back in the gun, but for now I'm just going to set it off to the side so we don't lose it, okay? And then we'll concentrate on this assembly. Now this is the part that is considered the firearm, which is kind of cool. So that means that as a chassis system, this is the firearm. This stamped steel component is the serialized component. It has the serial number, the model number, all of that stuff, you know, US 9mm, M17, yada yada, all that. You shouldn't have to mess with any of this stuff unless there's some sort of underlying problem. For the purposes of field stripping and cleaning, you don't need to take this apart, okay? But you can see your safety levers, all right? You know, make sure everything has got freedom of movement. And obviously when you're in the field, you know, doing any type of field stripping on your pistol, you obviously want to make sure that this thing, you know, you need to take care not to allow anything to get all crazy on you or anything like that, you know, to get lost, all right? We'll probably take, I mean, there's a little bit of buildup right here, but overall it's not bad. It's actually quite clean. I'm surprised, actually. I was expecting to see this assembly much, much nastier than what it is. And in terms of a field stripping scenario, I'm quite pleased to see that this assembly is not really all that dirty. So we're going to go through and take a brush and just kind of wipe her down. You know, nothing crazy, using great care not to allow anything to jettison or fly around, because in the field you don't want to have to really mess with anything if you don't have to. And there might, and you know, they may even tell you not to ever disassemble this thing in the field, but I mean, look, we're field stripping. Just to keep the gun running, this is going to be more than adequate. Go through and clean it. You guys get the idea what I'm accomplishing here. It's looking good. Mm-hmm. Actually, supremely shocked at how clean it is. While we've got it apart, we're going to take our needle oiler. This is an FP10 needle oiler. And we're going to go through and lubricate this while we've got it apart. And we're going to just look for any little moving parts, wear points, you know, anything that looks like a part is moving against it. Okay. Slide rails. That label is coming off. That's a common issue with these oilers. That oil causes that adhesive to come off, but we know it's oil. Go through, and you can see where there's like any little wear points where things are moving against each other, things are pivoting, things are rubbing together. Any type of wear point is what we want to go through, make sure we oil to keep this thing working good. Okay. That's looking good. Yep. I'm pleased with that. For field stripping purposes, we don't have to mess with this assembly anymore. It's actually freakishly clean. Very, very surprised. Okay. So we'll go ahead and put, well, first we'll wipe down this grip module, which you can see there's a little bit of powder burn, but again, super easy. Just take one of our impregnated cloths here and just go through and wipe down any type of crap that might be in the frame. That was really all there was. And then we're also going to, you know, check while we have this thing apart and look for any signs of wear, any signs of cracking, splitting, because remember, even the factory unit is a polymer frame. So we're going to inspect and make sure that there's no cracking, splitting, you know, any type of issues that might lead us to believe that the frame could be compromised in any way. whether that's the factory frame or the aftermarket frame. We're going to inspect it the same way. Okay, I don't really see anything that would lead me to believe that the frame could be compromised or have some sort of an issue. And again, you know, for the people that might be naysayers about Sig versus, you know, Glock or any other, you know, Smith & Wesson or any other brand, you're going to do the same thing for any of those guns, right, as you would for this. So that's the way I approach it, is just to treat every gun as its own individual, that you're going to go out of your way to make sure everything's good. We're going to put the the magazine release back in the gun. Now you can see I laid it here like this. We're just going to take the wedge and set it off to the side. That little assembly. And we're going to put the magazine release back in, using great care to make sure that that spring is not going to jettison. Just like that. Right? All right, applying the same tension. There's a little knurled edge that's meant to be, I guess, grabbed by your fingernail. You can probably barely see that in the front of my thumbnail. But we're going to take and just put it back in like this. Okay. Real easy. Yep. Push that back in. It'll click in place. So you don't have to have any tools to reassemble the magazine release, only to get it back out. And again, I'm going to drive that wedge out one more time just to show you how easy it is. Okay? Again, left hand, pick up with the index finger, just like this. Push it in, work it up and down. Look at that. See how easy that was? I'm going to push it back in because we're not going to take it back out. All right, we're going to check, make sure everything's good. We'll take our magazine. That's good. So the magazine release is good. We are going to pull the magazine apart as well. Okay. I'm pleased with this frame. I don't have any issues. We're going to go ahead and put this back together. I think you guys get the idea. All right. You're going to take basically the front of the trigger and just rest it against the front of the frame. And then you're going to work that bad boy. Actually, I think we may have to pivot. Yeah, we do have to pivot. Pivot in like this. And you may have to take the trigger and squeeze it back a little bit to the rear to get it to clear the frame. I think that's what I had to do last time. Yep. Just have to play with it a little bit here. Okay. There we go. Look, here's the easiest way to do it. Pivot it in like this. Take your middle finger and push the trigger in all the way, and then drop it down, just like that. Okay? Too easy. It's one of those things where if you try to overcomplicate it, you're probably not going to have a good result. All right, again, the takedown lever, same thing. Just push it back in. Okay. There is a cut. That is a angled cut that is on this takedown lever. You want to put it at about this angle right here, just like that. That's about the angle you want it at. And you should be able to just push it and allow it to overcome. And then the same thing, you're going to go in the other side in the same manner to get it back in to clear. Might help if I actually paid attention to what I was doing initially. All right. You just have to hold your mouth right and make sure it's lined up. The reason it wasn't going in is because the front of the assembly had lifted up just a slight amount, and that was causing it not to find its home, okay? And again, you're just going to line everything up right in the groove, just like it was before, okay? And put it back in place and rotate it downward, just like that. Like I'll show you again. Go ahead and pull it all the way out. Make sure that the module is all the way down. Take the angled cut, put it at this angle just like this. Apply pressure downward, push in. Just kind of wiggle, push to get it to clear, just like that. Rotate downward, just like this at the disassembly angle. So now the gun is ready to reassemble, at least the frame is. Look how easy that is. That's a very easy gun to take care of. All right, so we're gonna check the safety. It looks good. And we're gonna just do one last check here and kind of take the needle oiler and, you know, oil up a couple of wear points that I'm seeing here. Looks good. All right, that's our ejector. That looks nice and solid. Make sure it's not all loose or, you know, acting up or anything like that. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and put the slide assembly back together. And again, y'all, this is a field strip, so nothing crazy. Going in like that at that angle, you may have to kind of lift up on it and wiggle. All right. That drives to the rear. Now, for lubricant, what we're going to use is some of this Otis firearms lubricant. Okay, and I'm going to apply a little bit to the inside of the slide in a couple of areas here. Okay. I mean, I suppose I could use the needle oiler, but let's apply a little bit of this. Just a bit. That might be a lot of it, but that's okay. We'll spread it out around a little bit here. Nothing crazy. Okay, take our guide rod assembly. Now there's a flat portion, and there's a portion that, you know, this portion is a little fatter. We're going to take the fat end, and that's the end that's going to go back towards the barrel. All right. You're going to place the recoil guide rod assembly in there. Go ahead and push forward with your thumb like this, and it should lay nice and flat, perpendicular to this edge of the slide here. So the gun should go back together without any difficulty. I'm going to go ahead and place the slide on top of the frame, pull to the rear. Everything should line up. Again, using our slide stop, which can be actuated from either side of the pistol, we're going to push up while simultaneously locking the slide to the rear, pushing that up into the slide stop notch that is located on both sides of the pistol. Take the takedown lever and push it forward. It should snap back in place. All right. That's looking nice. Wipe it down a little bit here. Get all our fingerprints and nasty marks all off of it. You know, now there's some general thoughts about, you know, if people leave their guns really oily or really, you know, lubricated or whatever. I tend to kind of wipe everything down with oil to, you know, preserve it, but then I'm going to kind of immediately go through and kind of wipe down the excess oil with a silicone rag though, because I don't want that to collect dirt and dust and debris, but I do want to try to protect the metal and wipe things down. I think it's just sort of ingrained in us that we lubricate and oil up metal things because we don't you know, we don't want to see anything have an issue. Okay, so we're going to check everything out. All right, everything's resetting. Safety. That works. All right, one thing left to do, and that's to disassemble the magazine. I told you that I would show you how to do it, and this is real easy. We're not going to go into a lot of detail here, but I think it's important to know how to disassemble your magazines. All right, this is the 22 round magazine. You can see that it fits relatively flush with the frame, but you can see that it protrudes out of the bottom of the frame just a bit. All right, the disassembly procedures on the magazines are exactly the same. You're going to take the magazine and put it in your hand like this, probably with the forward part of the base facing towards your body. Take a punch or another rigid object and decompress this base plate assembly, just like this. Pull towards you, right? Relieve the tension. Got to hold that assembly in place because it's under spring pressure. So you can see there's the little plate where it coincides with your base plate. Okay, that's what that's for. All right, that's looking good. And then your follower, spring, and mag body itself. Now we're going to go through and clean this mag body a little bit. I think you all get the idea here, but you know, not everybody shows you how to disassemble the magazines, so I figure, you know, look, cleaning your magazines is important. You need to know how to be able to do this because, you know, if you're having some sort of an issue, you need to be able to assess the issue, and magazines are an integral part of how your firearm operates. So obviously you need to keep your magazines in good condition too. Keep them well lubricated and oiled and wiped down and free of any debris, especially in the inside of the mag, that might keep your pistol from running at peak performance. All right, now let's see if I can ever remember exactly the position that this goes in. It goes like that. Okay. Yeah, so you can see the shape of this guy is in the same shape of the magazine. So the flat part goes to the back, the round part goes to the front. You shouldn't really have to have tools per se, okay? Basically just take it and compress it like this, and then you're going to slip the magazine follower portion back over it like that. That's it. Super easy. It's actually a very easy magazine to take apart. Trust me, there are some that are definitely a bear and not something you'd want to try to do in the field. But that's a magazine you can take apart and clean easily in the field. So very, very serviceable and easy to take care of. All right. Magazine release is working good. That's good. Make sure it locks. Looks good. Okay. Beautiful. All right. There is our M17 pistol that's been cleaned, field stripped, cleaned, lubricated, put back together, ready to go. This gun's ready for duty, ready for the range, ready for really whatever the heck we need to use it for. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really wanted to do a video on this particular pistol because it is a popular pistol. There's a lot of them out there now. They are gaining a lot of popularity, and obviously a lot of our military and police are using them as well. So, you know, there's probably a lot of people out there that are wanting to know how to kind of take care of these things and kind of what to look for and maybe need a little bit of help and instruction. So hopefully this pointed some of you in the right direction. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon. And don't forget, use the code IV8888. You can get 15% off at Otis if you decide you want to buy any of the Otis products that you saw in this video. So don't forget about your discount. Thank you all very much. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon.